Hi, this is a review of what we worked on yesterday in Google Classroom. The first thing is we're in the classroom, and when you want to create one, you're going to click on the plus button where you can either join a class or create a class. So I'm going to click on create a class and I'm going to name it. And select create. I'm not going to add a section or a subject, but that would probably be beneficial when you're creating a real class. All right, so now we're in the class, and first thing that you can do if you want to is you can either select a theme and choose one of the ones that Google has provided, or if you want to, you can upload a photo, and we went over that in class. So you need to get one that's a fairly decent size, and you can get them from either Clipart or your own personal photos or off of Google. And remember to search for those under how they're licensed so you can actually use them. So that is how you would change the theme. Over here on the left is a new area called topics, and it would be a good idea to decide on what you are going to use for your topics, because this is going to be the only way that you can sort or find specific things in the stream, because once you get going on this, there's going to be a lot of information in the stream. Every time you add something, it will be listed here and you cannot hide it, but you can add a topic to it. So if you include add a topic, then you can click on the topic and use that. So to add something to the stream, the first thing you want to do is click on the plus button, and you can create an announcement, an assignment, a question, and you can also reuse a post. So if I were going to create an announcement, I would click on this. And the nice thing about the Google Classroom now is that you can assign things to specific students. So if I had some students in here, I would have a list of students, and I could assign an announcement to just one student. We did that in class when we assigned Brandy an announcement to remind her to bring her pencil for the test. So that's announcements. And the next thing is on creating an assignment. And the nice thing about creating an assignment is, I'm going to give it a title. So we're going to call it Docs, because one of the things you can do with the assignments is once you click on your Google Drive, you can click on the assignment, which we're just going to use this fictitious one, and we're going to add it. And then over here we have choice. We can either have all students view the file, all students can edit the file, or I can make a copy for each student. If you do that, then each student's copy is going to have their name before it, and so it's really easy to keep track of that. So if you want each student to work on it individually, this would be the choice. If you've got just something you want them to read, you could use view, or if you want them all to work together on it, you can use edit file. Remember, you can assign it to just certain students. So if you had a group of 3 or 4 students, you could pick all of those and use these students can edit this one document. So that is how you would do that. In addition, you can select a due date and a time. Now, if you haven't selected a due date or a time, the assignments will not appear on the calendar, which is an important thing, that they do appear for students so they can keep track of what they're doing. Again, you can also assign a topic. If you haven't got a topic for this particular assignment, you can create a topic from here. Remember, topics are pretty important because that's how you can somewhat organize your stream. Then when you get ready to assign it, if you click on the Assign button, you can assign it right away, which puts it at the very top of the stream, or you can schedule a time for it to appear at the top of the stream, or you can save it as a draft because you're going to be working on it later, or you want to assign it later. So that is assignments. Another thing we worked on yesterday is we had a question. And so you can create a question, again, for all students or for just a group of students. And you can create either short answer or multiple choice questions. You can only create one question at a time. And inside the classroom, when you're creating a question, this particular program will not grade that multiple choice question for you. This is more just a one question to see who got it right or who didn't. You can change this. Students can reply to each other. If you're going to be using short answer, that would be a nice feature. And you can also use, students can edit their answer. You can turn that on or off. In your question, you can give them a YouTube video right here, a link to a website. You can add a Google Doc of some sort, or you can add an attachment. And then you can click on Ask once you have the question done. So if I type question, then I have my Ask. Now again, under Ask, I can schedule this for a different time. All of the same things that I had under Assignment. So I can ask a question right here. The nice thing too we found is that I can go out and reuse a post. And we looked at that yesterday because if you have created a Google Classroom for one semester or one school year and you're going to be reteaching that, it's a nice feature to be able to create a new class and yet go out and get some questions from some other courses. So I've created this class, and if I want to, I can go out and get an assignment from fall is a good time of year, even though it's archived. So if I click on that, I can go out and get this, do this assignment, and I can reuse it. So if I decide to reuse it, then I can change the date to whatever I want it to be, and I can also change the topic. I could change the entire assignment, but then why am I reusing it if I do that? So that's how you reuse questions, and I would think that would be extremely valuable. The next thing we're going to look at is students. So if we click on students, we can either use the class code and have your students log in to classroom.google.com and select that they're a student when they are getting started, and then use this class code in that drop-down box, which was on the page that we started with. Or you created your class, you could also join a class there. So, or you can invite all your students via email if you should decide you want to do that. You can either include guardians or not in this particular class. And here's an example of what that would look like. So you could have your guardian, a summary for a particular student, and this particular link shows you how to set up Guardian and why you might want to use it. Since I don't have any students in here, I can't email my guardians or set them up. Now under the About section, you'll notice that Google Classroom already sets up a folder. This one's called Diagonal Practice. The folder is going to be the name of your class. And I can view this here in Classroom, my calendar, or I can open it up in Google Calendar. If I view it here, it's going to show me my assignments, or it's going to show me my assignments here. This is really a nice feature for students. And then right here, I can add any class materials. The problem with this one is that it's going to, again, be a scroll of one right after another, and you cannot sort these in any way. And the first added is at the bottom, and the last added is at the top. So I would suggest that you include a specific term as you're putting these together, maybe the name of the unit. So if I'm doing a unit on Pluto, I might call this Pluto. Each time I'm doing something that would be a resource for my unit on Pluto, so that, so that if I decided to add that, and we're going to get a Google, because it's making us do something in order to light it. So let's get our thing here, test again. Now I have a resource and I can post it. So the reason why you would want to add Pluto for every resource that's dealing with Pluto is so that you can find it on the page. So if you do a Control F, remember Control F on the Chromebook or on a PC, will find everything well, you can put in a word and it'll find every time that word appears on a web page. So for this particular one, I'm looking for Pluto, and see it highlights it, and it found it. Now, if there were many more, I could go clicking through my arrows and it would find the next one and the next one and the next one. So that, to my way of thinking, that's going to be the only way that you can organize that About section with all of your different resources in it. Let's see, is there anything else about Google Classroom that we didn't discuss? Also remember, you have added the G Suite training, so you can always go up, and this is going to be training on Google Classroom, and it's going to come up with all the different items about Classroom, and you can also search for one here. So maybe if I put in Guardians, and I search for Guardians, I guess it doesn't have a little video on Guardians. Here's one on working with questions or filtering your stream by topic. So if I click on those, then it's going to give me a little video on how to do it. And you can watch those over and over again. Yes. So that is what we learned about Google Classroom yesterday, and I hope that this helps you remember what it was that we covered.